We're here with one of the quirkiest, most unique, engaging, chameleon-like actors that I've ever worked with, and I've had the pleasure of working with him on stage a number of times. You've seen him in a number of films, including Any Day Now, which you can see on Apple TV as well as Amazon, and also in the baseball movie Eephus, which has been very successful around the country and especially on the festival circuit. We're going to get into it. And this is David Pridemore. David, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me, Gary. That was a great
Hey,
intro.
it's a pleasure. You're one of the more interesting people that I've certainly met in
I do
this
my best.
business. You got a lot of stuff going on. When I first met you, we were doing a play with Casey Sherman, and then you played John Lennon. And then recently, we did another play with Casey Sherman, and I think you were playing one of the writers. I can't remember.
Yeah,
Uh,
you know who I was. Come on now.
anyway,
I was
yeah,
Kurt Vonnegut.
you were
I think
the
I played Kurt Vonnegut. I don't know. I think he was a writer as well.
you played Kurt
Um,
Vonnegut, and he was the nemesis of one Ernest Hemingway.
yeah,
Anyways,
he was
so
your nemesis, I thought.
my
No,
nemesis, that's right. So, David, the reason I'm doing this is because I just find it fascinating that people want to do this crazy business, myself included, because it's insane. There's a ton of rejection. It's really hard. When you tell your friends about it, they go, "Well, have I seen you in anything good like Superman?" And I go, "Well, no." But I was like the third bank teller from the right. Um, and people just don't really understand why we continue to pound our head against the wall. So, why are you addicted to acting?
well, I never wanted to be an actor. I've always been a stand-up comedian, so I'm too afraid to do that. So I just shifted my performance, my need to perform, into the acting world. Now I'm trying to make a joke here, but yeah, after 30 years of studying the craft and 20 years of background, way too long background, um a light bulb goes off and you're like, yeah, I've trained enough. I am enough. And it's funny that my secret to acting so far has been like, don't act. Like,
Right.
there was just a clip I shared on Instagram. Angus Young from ACDC. They're like, so how do you get ready? How do you get psyched for? He goes, I don't do anything. I just go on stage and it's on. And then he's like, I may be the laziest person you've ever met. I don't do anything. I don't want
That's
to tell
not
you I don't
funny.
do anything, but it's a process that you trust your ability, you trust the script, you trust the work that you do, whether it's internally, whether it's, whatever your process is. I have a friend, Jay Street, I call to help me do my self tapes. As soon as you get an audition, it's like, we're on the clock. You set up a
Right.
time to do that. I like to write out my lines by hand, which is
Why do you do that?
archaic, but
Does it
I
help
write
you
big.
remember?
It does help because you read it, you write it, you read it again, you look what you wrote. You just read it 5 times. And I tend to write it really big, just in case I gotta tape it to my thing when I do my self tapes. I can cheat off a line. I'm giving away all my dirty secrets now.
So, do you have a process? Because one of the things that I think if I had to pick one, and there are, especially with social media now, and you see them all, acting coaches, this way, that way, pay this, pay that, you'll get this. The one thing I just heard is know it, know it, know it, know it, know it. When you show up to set, forget everything and just react. That's to me, if you had to pick one thing, that would be it. When you get to set, just let it go.
So, like anything that we go out to become, we become to learn. We could be research students of the craft, they call it. They
Right.
kept calling it craft. I don't know if that's some witch thing, but the Hollywood tree, that. We won't get into that. But you got to do, they say, 10,000 hours of work
Right.
to get from that rookie to novice, and then from novice to, working actor, professional, that kind of, where you actually can be considered, oh, you're a professional actor. Yeah, I mean, doing background for 10, 15 years and having a headshot and taking a couple of weekend classes, like nail that audition, or, whatever that is, that's all great, but that's not the in-depth level of the work, the craft that can bring you to that next level. to where you can leave yourself alone. If you make it about your other partner all the time, and you're always checking in on them and point of view, this is Meisner now, right from it, what are you getting from that other actor? It's like a psychic energy. Like, oh, you look interested now. You genuinely look like you are taking in what I'm saying. Like, and just the art of connecting to your other scene partner and focusing all your attention on them naturally gets you out of your head. And that's that term, out of your head, that a lot of actors never get out. And I watch TV, I watch famous people, I watch whatever movies. And once you see an actor acting, it's just that micro thing that you do that you're like, oh, now they're pushing. Now they're trying to be good. They're trying to, I'm sad or I'm angry or I'm this, and you're just trying too hard. You're just pushing. And that's when it becomes a little fake. So just don't lie.
Let's take John Lennon. When you played Lennon on stage, for example, because I thought you did a terrific job. And this was,
thank you very much.
An excerpt from Casey's book with Dave Wedge about your character's assassination. So, because when I saw you, you had the glasses on, I didn't know you, and I wondered if you happened to be British or if you were kind of like, was that just you? And then after I got to meet you, I realized you're insane and that's not you. Yeah. And I mean it as a compliment. But tell us how you were able to restrain in order to keep your Lennon believable.
Well, I mean, first you have to study the person. If he's a real person, you gotta work on his mannerisms and how he walks and how he talks and the structure of the language that he does. I probably lost the accent now, but
no, but I got you. No, it's pretty good.
So that's the type of work. You got to know your lines. You got to read your lines.
That's a given. See, that's the thing. That's the frustrating
like
part of it.
Like,
I mean, for a minute, like when I talk to friends of mine about it, they just think like, oh, you know your lines and that's it. I go, dude, that is the base.
Step one.
That is like step one of knowing your lines, and you got a long way to go after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of, we just to roll back a bit. I've done a year of Chekhov. I've did over a year of Meisner. I've some Uta Hagen. I've done a lot of the things, and a lot of them have to do with relaxing the body,
right? Relaxing
your actor's instrument, so you're free to interact, give and receive. And there's also this little tone wave of, all the lines don't sound the same. We stop and we think.
Right.
That micro expression where I'm not just sitting there waiting to say my lines. I'm actually interacting with another human being, and we're having a moment. And we don't have to try to do anything. We don't have to try to be sad, good, happy, or anything. It's just those are circumstances that were written for us. Now we've developed this character, and it's always best to just bring yourself into the character. Now, if you want to add an accent, you want to add a speech impediment, you want to add a limp, you want to wear special clothes or do something with your hair or your glasses to help create that character. And then it's all about working on relationships and building the imagination that creates the world. And then they all say it, you do all this work. And like you said, you get to the door, the threshold, and you forget it at the door. You can't be in there thinking about, am I doing Meisner? Am I doing Chekhov? Or right. What's this angle? Like, you had time to read your lines and do all that before. When you get on that set, you're a professional and you're expected to go. The director's not there to hold your hand.
Can you give me an example where you've surprised yourself once you got to the set in a role where you have forgotten everything, but you went someplace that totally blew your mind and even surprised yourself?
This is a great tag-in. Some work I didn't mention was method acting, and there's a misbelief on method acting that you become the character and you go into this dark place and you live it.
Right.
According to Rachel from Boston Casting, that's not what Meisner is. We do want to go back and work on some memories or bring us some actual stuff that brings us emotionally alive. But it has to serve this moment. It has to serve this character. That's just like to fill the gas tank up. And when I did this movie called The Killers Next Door, which was my first lead role, I was supposed to be the third lead, but I kind of took over the movie because I kind of became like pretty much insane, and I stayed in character for the whole time. And that was my first stage. But the Disney movie, The Finest Hours, is Casey Sherman, which when I first met him, we were going to film a scene where we were about to crash. The boat had split in half, and we were teeter-tottering on a sandbar, and we were pretty much waiting to be rescued or we're going to die. And so somehow I connected to something truthful in my soul that I like literally convinced myself that we're going to die. And so I like almost stayed in this character the whole weekend. And then on set of the Disney movie, I was literally pretty much making my peace with God and crying all day. And I still knew we were on a movie set, but I really stayed in it for like 8 hours. And finally they stopped filming the principal scene that was going on, and they created an alternate ending from the scene. And they literally stopped what they were filming, and they set up on me to pick up this alternate ending with me and one of the other actors from the movie. And part of it made it in. So when you can have when you can pull Disney stop what they're doing in their little time card to come capture you on film, I guess that's a moment that I wasn't expecting.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that says something. So, but what I appreciate about what you're saying is that you don't have one particular rigid method. It changes from job to job.
Well, I get the script, I read it, right?
Right.
I wait to the last minute. A lot of times I write out my lines. I don't over prep. And I don't give myself enough credit because I do daydream about it. And I have this imagination that creates the movie in my head.
Right.
So I'm like playing out 1,000 different versions. And then somehow at some point in the process, usually later on, a little panicky. It's just the ADHD in me. I can wait to the last minute.
Right.
At some point, all of a sudden, I'm like, this thought or this voice or something kicks in and I get an idea. And it starts with that idea. And I'm like, oh, there it is.
Right. You got to trust yourself.
Then I just relax. I'm like, it came through. I don't know if it's some kind of weird, I don't want to do any voodoo kind of spirit thing, but it's like, it's an internal process that, everyone has their own thing. Like, some people, another good technique is have a support staff. You have 25 actors on your short dial and you put out in a little Teams chat, hey, I just got this script. Anybody available to read tonight? You just read it over and over and over again.
Yeah, we all know that.
Yeah, and it's like, that's kind of the thing you really should do, because then you got other actors actually giving you feedback, and you're not trying to memorize it. It's very rare now that I get it and I just sit there and I memorize it. It's almost like I read it, and the good writing will come to you.
Well, the good writing is easier to remember.
True.
But with the overwriting sucks. It sucks.
75 adjectives and they want it in a specific order. Then you got alliteration. You're like, the little dog went to the store. Little dog. LDG,
This person's getting paid by the word. That's what,
And I do hear in TV, they want it word perfect. And if you do get lucky enough to book some of these older type TV shows that are, I hate to say it, the old studio gigs are going less and less now. Everything's going verticals and non-union this and non-union that. But if you can book one of these TV shows, a series regular, guest star, whatever, I heard that, like, be ready though. You're gonna get new sides in your trailer. Oh, there's some changes there. What do you need? 20 minutes?
If you
got 8 new pages, you're like, how about 20 hours? I can't memorize this. I'm old. My memory's shot.
I can relate with the procedurals. Like if it's a FBI, whatever, there's exposition in the language. You can just tell. Like if you really pay attention, like, okay, well, the agents wouldn't really talk like that, but there's only what, if there's 12 minutes of commercials, you got 48 minutes of time and they still got to catch the bad guy and they need to explain what's happening. Right. So there's some language in there that it's like, well, we're going to do
Okay.
this and go that and go there and do this and see the judge and do this and blah, 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 blah. Okay.
Like
We've
the old
explained.
days when they tied the guy up. Well, now that I've got you tied up, I'm going to tell you in 1965, I was
Right.
actually his mother. And
Yeah. Yeah.
we did this and that. Now that I've explained the whole story for the users at home, I'm going to leave these two idiots in charge to make sure that you get disposed of. Boom, boom,
Right.
bang.
Boom,
It's
boom,
like, all
bang.
right, that's believable.
So let's talk about the recent works. Let's talk about Any Day Now, directed by
Uh,
Eric Ronson. And then it's a great movie.
it's so funny.
It's a
It's so
lot
well
of
done.
fun. It's a lot of fun. And it's Eric's version of what happened with the heist at the Gardner Museum, his version. So tell us about your role. You're a member of the crew, and tell us about your guy and what he told you as far as what he wanted the crew that works with Paul Guilfoyle to steal the paintings to be like.
So, first of all, what a process getting this. I was actually filming Eephus at the time.
At the same
So I
time.
get the callback shot. I get the callback and I do really well. And they're like, do you have any conflicts? I'm like, no, I don't have. Except I'm a lead in this movie where I'm the pitcher and we're filming till the end of the month. So luckily they put me on a weekly contract. They worked out the dates
Yeah.
with the other movies. So both movies were on board. And so I was doing both movies simultaneously, which is kind of unheard of. But right from the day one, well, first of all, my callback with Mooch was like we hit it off together. Like we had
And
great chemistry.
Mooch is one of the crew.
Yes. So me and the other guy, Bob Ra,
Yeah.
Sean Fitzgibbon,
Barbara and Mike Bash.
and Mike Bash. Yes, Mike Bash. So the three of us were like the Three Stooges. We're just nut bags. And Paul Guilfoyle's the head of the screwball gang, right? So he's like, we're going to rob the museum. And I don't want to give the movie away, but obviously that's what it's about. So then I tell you, he was amazing. The other in it, he was just. I think all the actors in this movie did just so good. Like,
Well, you guys
right
are
down
having
to
fun. It was not like when you're hitting golf balls into the ocean.
yeah.
You guys are doing that.
Taylor
You're
Gray,
obviously having fun.
Taylor Gray, the young guy that plays the museum
Right.
kid that gets it. He used to have a Nickelodeon show. He was like a child star from way back. I love to watch him work. He was just so natural and just watching him work off Paul Guilfoyle was so much fun. And there was one time I think Paul was supposed to go to the Celtics, but we had a night shoot, so we're all sitting and holding, and things got pushed and pushed. So he's like, we told war stories all night. I bonded with that whole crew so much. And the first day was the fitting. I remember Johnny has the fitting guy. He has like ambiance and like waterfalls and like incense and like like the 70s vibe. And he's like, I want you guys to get in character and help me pick your clothes that you'll wear. In fact, I was going to wear them tonight. I actually showed up for an ADR session and two of the movie premieres wearing the wardrobe. Eric's like, wait a minute, is that yours? I go, no, that's yours. He's like, you took the wardrobe? I'm like, yeah, I took it. Whatever. So I always made it a point to wear the wardrobe every movie premiere we had with Eric. It was hilarious. But so they went a different way about promoting the movie and whatnot. They're taking an unconventional route, I think.
Well, you have to. I mean, a lot of social media, a lot of different avenues.
It's changing, right?
Yeah, well, it's running a 30-second clip with a big, in a world like a movie trailer, on network TV doesn't really work anymore,
And I hear horror stories how like we're all actors and artists and producers and this and that. but not many of us know how to write contracts. So
Well,
it's like you do all this
yeah.
work, you get money, you get funding, and then you give it to some company, production company, and they spin a new trailer and do a new poster, and they put it up on streaming, and they get paid first. They take most of the money. You're like, they
Yeah.
get
Well,
paid
yeah, I
first.
mean,
Like, what
Eric's
did they
been,
do? No one else gets paid.
Eric Aronson, the director, I mean, he's worked with Johnny Depp. He's been around, so he knows the game.
Yeah,
So, I mean, he knew exactly what he wanted to do and how he wanted to do it. Now, it took a little bit because you guys shot this 2 years ago.
yeah.
Okay, and now it's on
2023.
Apple, and like in the recent couple months, he got it on Apple, he got it on Amazon.
Yeah,
So he's
he's
stuck
doing
with
it.
it.
Yes,
He stuck with it and he continued to push on and on and on and on and on. So that's where you have a creator who also understood the business, which is
yes,
unusual, right? I mean, he understood the business. So he was able to bring the two together, and that's how he made it work.
yeah.
He understood where the machine was going. So, okay, so tell us about Eephus. That is about one baseball game, the last baseball game to be played on a particular field.
Yes, in Douglas, Mass. Well, we shot it in Douglas, Mass, and we shot it over like 5 or 6 weeks. We had a lot of rain, and we had a neighbor that kept mowing the lawn every day that we had to keep trying to deal with.
I know.
Um, I hadn't pitched since high school. The pitcher. I have tons of cartilage damage in my shoulder.
Right.
I would have to throw 50 pitches just to warm my arm up enough so that I could hit the strike zone. I developed this crazy little. He wanted me to do this Craig Kimball type
Oh,
stance,
right.
but
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, this is supposed to be the '90s. He was in the 2000s, so I'm like, so then I did this like Jesus thing to an angel, and I did it like, and I would spin myself dizzy to appear drunk. But I remember Russ Gannon saying to me, "Hey, Dave, do you think if you didn't spin yourself so dizzy, you could actually throw a strike? We could get the shot and move on. I have dinner with my wife tonight." I'm like, "Yes, this is my process."
Russ,
So I mean,
also a guest of the show.
yeah, is it? Oh yeah, yeah. He's awesome.
That's
Me
funny.
and him were like going at it a lot. We were good friends can go at each other
Of
because
course,
that's
when
what
you're
they
in movies,
do, right?
I get it. No, I get it. So now this was showed at Cannes, wasn't it?
Yeah, we made it to Cannes, the director's Fortnight, which is like, let's just say 2 or 3 movies from all around the world get a chance.
Yeah.
Indie directors get a chance to be it. And hey, we weren't on the main stage, right? But
Oh,
we were down the street with 1,500 people, sold out 6 shows. So, and everywhere we went in Cannes by week 2, we didn't wait in any line. They were like, "Oh, Eephus, come on, Eephus!" Like
yeah.
it,
And then
it,
and then Carson Lund, the director, one of the producers and writer, they took that to the theater route. They went to individual theaters.
um, they had a production company that got it in select theaters
Right.
for a brief time. And you're just talking about handfuls here and there. It's not like we had a big wide release or anything.
Oh, okay.
You know,
I thought they were able to work a deal where it was a wider release. I misunderstood.
um, I don't know how many theaters we had, but it wasn't like 6,000, 3,000
No, but the
theaters.
fact that you got in a theater.
Is unheard of in this day and age.
Well, I think there's two ways to look at it now is that because so many movies go to streaming that if you're, I mean, at Eephus at the beginning, it's the little movie that could, right? I mean, this is a small movie that went on and did some big things.
Mostly because of the critics loved it so
The
much.
critics love it,
And
yeah.
because it's that good.
Right, the critics love it. You kind of have to you got to kind of take the alleys that are given you, so right now it's probably not the easiest thing in the world to get on Netflix, but
Right.
you can get in a couple theaters because they got some open screens. You just do it. So
Yeah.
you kind of have to look for that way to get in.
I
That's
think we did Australia, London.
yeah.
I don't know if we did Toronto, we did New York, we did LA,
Yeah,
we
I can
did
see this playing well in Europe because it's not the traditional baseball movie. It's you know what I mean?
Japan. They actually chose my cross photo for the poster in Japan. It was all Japanese letters and stuff.
Man,
like,
if you go to Japan, you're going to need a security.
I was asking him. I'm like, hey, are we going? And they had been touring for months with the movie. They're like, I don't think they're going to sponsor a bunch of us to go. I'm like, I'll pay my own way to go to Japan.
So
but it didn't happen.
So tell me, so you can't talk, you have a couple things coming up, but you have to be careful what you say.
Yeah. There's a movie coming up. It's an A24 movie with Rob Pattinson. It's a takeoff on Chris Hansen's
right.
To Catch a Predator. That looks good. I'm just going to say that looks like a good movie. And then last fall, there was a movie in town. Again, Mark Wahlberg's in that one. That's about Teamsters. He's a truck driver with an autistic child. That looks like a good movie as well. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, good stuff.
So, yeah,
good stuff.
Things are moving, my friend. I feel like we didn't even talk about our movie here any day now that much. We've been all over the place talking about the craft.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we got
there's a lot of local actors in it. I think it's amazing.
I'll give you the final word on Any Day Now.
Any Day Now?
Yeah, go for it. You got a couple minutes.
If you want to laugh your ass off and see a well-acted, well-written movie that's loosely based on, the museum robbery that is they're still talking about it to this day. No one knows where these famous art pieces went. I'm sure they're not on some Russian oligarch's wall, though, in Russia. Who knows where they ended up, right? But
you have to pay attention because there's definitely comedy and it's a good story and everybody's likable. And you get to see Paul Guilfoyle really spread his wings because I remember him playing Jim, the cop on CSI. That's, and that's pretty, like, I don't think he moved his shoulders or his neck the whole time. He got a chance to loosen up with this guy.
I tell you, man, and I heard stories of I think you might have talked about it with Sean, how at the opening they had Al Pacino, his former roommate.
Tape of Pacino.
They did theater
together.
They were roommates.
He and Pacino were roommates.
And he showed up on the screen. I think you were there, right? When they had the premiere. That was pretty special to see. Hey, congratulations, Paul, on your new movie. It's going to be amazing. I know it's going to be a great hit. I miss you, kid. Oh, looking back at those theater days. I can't do it. I know it. But if you get a chance to see it.
Any day, Apple TV, Amazon, check it out. Something the whole family could watch.
100%. 100%. Yeah. And if you like baseball, check out 100% Rotten Tomatoes Eephus. And if you really want to see my killer work, check out The Killers Next Door. That's on a bunch of streaming platforms. And I'm like the Joker in that. I'm really insane. And you mentioned that. That's how you started it off. You said you're
Shocking. The always interesting David Pridemore. Thank you for coming on Addicted to Acting.
I appreciate it, man.